Nerf Clan, Blitzers, it's Ronan. Welcome back to the channel. We got a couple of Emil 1 games today. The first one is actually mine. I don't like to do my replays that often, but mastering the Emil 1 right now is not easy. In fact, I think it's nearly as hard as mastering a Smasher or something. So Arthur requested I post it, and I gladly will. A little easier to do my own replays. I don't have to rewatch the game. So anyway, I'm in Naval Frontier here, tuning with Oops, who had a birthday in his IS-2SH, aka the Imp. ISH per something or other. And I quickly go to the C cap. I wanted this thing capped. I noticed in the lineup, they had a couple of meds, a light, and it's a big map, Naval Frontier. I did not want to chase them around the map at the end of the match, losing by points. So that's why I did the early cap. And I caught this idiot in the KB3 pushing here. Their whole team actually came up to meet us. I was glad we made a C call. And the Emil 1 is so good. I didn't play this tank enough early on. I played like 10 or 12 games before I got the Emil 2 and moved on. And I kept on hearing from everyone how good the tank is. I have to admit, it took me playing it most recently in ratings a little bit to realize what this thing is. It is just absolutely cracked, broken. I'd argue with you right now it may be the best tier heavy pound per pound in the game. It will be nerfed, so we'll see how that it handles it. But anyway, so C cap here. You can see again, we're kind of in the lead. This came, and thank you, this Progetto. I really appreciated that idiot ramming me. And I think he got himself just about killed there. Their team just got in position here, and within the Emil 1, you know, first of all, look at the pen. I can shoot the underplate of the T-2064 so easily there, and without even seeing it through the bush. So you can just pen things that you shouldn't be able to. You can, the dispersion is like 281. It's just ridiculous. You'll see in Rene's game too. We got Rene's game after this. Rene did not master it, unfortunately. It was probably more deserved than my game, in my opinion. The biggest difference here, and the reason I got it, was because of the consistent spotting damage. You can see I just keep on spotting their team. And I also capped C early on, and we ended up winning by points. So cleared that KB3. I'm taking a bit of damage here from the T-2064. I didn't look at him because I knew I could back up right there and bounce most of those shots, and 225 Alpha was not intimidating to me. I wanted to get one more into a tank that I don't like nearly as well to mess with, which is the T-28 Defender, which I ended up killing later on, but that guy was concerning me because he could have flanked me here on the left-hand side and killed me if he wanted to, but he never pushed, which I really appreciated. Anyway, so T-2064 is down to a one-shot thanks to Oops walloping him with 500 Alpha from his Imp and leaving him ready to die. I am trying to get this T-26, got into the, again, what a shot, what a cannon. I mean, the accuracy you need to hit the turret of a T-28 Defender in a snapshot like that is just ridiculous. And oh, why not shoot the little tiny spot on the top of the T-26. I also had an opening, you know, RNG was on my, Jesus was on my side. I had an opening shot, if you saw it, of a T-349 that was complete bullshit. So just one of those games. So Oops is in a lot of trouble here, but I told him to hide during the game. And you can see it's still actually right now 5-on-4. So the game was close throughout. We kind of whittled them out. My team, our team, other than Oops and I, we're just hiding in the back. And that enabled us to do most of the damage, but they kept the enemies from pushing, which I guess we appreciated. The T-28 Defender front armor is OP. Change it to APCR, no problem for the crack Emil. Well, sure, yeah, you can get that shot, angled, whatever. I mean, just ridiculous. It was partially red too, shouldn't have penned, it did. So at this point, you know, I'm at 2,900 damage. Again, you notice only base that's capped with C, and you know, you guys want to get masteries. That is a key to masteries, is only, you know, win by points, cap all the bases. Mastery 101, I suppose. Two more guys left here. It's 4-on-2, but you know, you guys notice that the two other than Oops and I that are on here are not really doing a whole lot. The T-49 is still alive somehow. He was camped in where I am right now the entire game. Go ahead and dispose of him. I actually could have and should have cleared the, and there it is right there. Shoot him right in the turret with HE. Yeah, sure, why not? Cleared him. And now we have a Gravedigger. This Gravedigger is pretty much full health, and unfortunately, I wasn't being that aggressive. I don't really know why, which is, it's not my signature here. Of course, I can shoot a Gravedigger in the front of his turret with this tank using AP, of course. Another shot, barely had to aim. And then this is the only challenge, 19 seconds, not enough time. We were at 975 on points, you know, and I couldn't, only option I had was to go ram him with, you know, my crack speed, which I didn't want to do. I thought maybe, just maybe I'd have enough time, but unfortunately, as you can see there, I was about 3 seconds too short. I wouldn't have cleared him anyway. So I got a mastery, 3,800 damage, 4 kills, 1,465 is the XP bar that I reached. Again, mostly probably for spotting and for capping that base. Now, we got a terrific next Emil game here. Stay tuned for Rene's game here in Mayan Ruins. And this game is a bit of an odd one. I can't say I've seen that many like this. It ends up being a one-on-one at the end with a lot of trash talking. And Rene is not a trash talker unless he's trash talked too. So I think these guys brought it on to themselves. But nonetheless, again, if you notice the Emil 1, some of the characteristics of it as Rene gets to position, it does have obviously -10 and a nearly impenetrable turret, unless you, I have found, by the way, that the Sheriff's a great antidote. The Sheriff does a good job of beating up the Emil 2 with its heat. But even then, the problem with the Sheriff, the Emil's DPM will just tear it apart. And normally, if you're playing in an Emil, you're playing with any autoloader. You got to know where you are. You never go alone, and you got to make sure that you got cover that you can during your 20-second reload. I mean, those are the basics of an autoloader. It's still true for the Emil, even though it is, again, in my opinion, probably the strongest currently in the game. And there's a smasher that's totally out of position against an Emil 1. He cannot pen Rene keeps his hull down. You could splash him in the front. I think that would get you about, well, that was better, more than I expected, 396. That actually may be a good tip for those of you like me who love to spam HE with a smasher. You could do some damage there to the Emil. But the problem is 396 while the Emil is pounding you for 400 alpha per shot or something isn't going to do too well. So this is where it gets kind of wild. Rene run down here. This FCM's got a big mouth, by the way. And Rene later on tells him that. Rene kind of jumps into the melee, but it's a 4-on-6 right now. Rene's got to do something. Of course, he bounces that. Beautifully done. And the FCM is really nothing that the FCM could do here against an Emil. And so now it is 3-on-5. 3-on-5. And Rene is in this spot that often leads to kind of just a wild hell of a melee spot. The Emil is not a brawler because of the fact that you have this interclip reload. And I don't know why this thing was lagging. Maybe it's Rene's game. I don't know. There's some good lag here. Apologies for that, I guess. But nonetheless, you can tell what's going on, I hope. Rene catches the LTTB on fire and gets a hit from the CDC. The CDC, is a great tank here and should be able to do a lot to the Emil because of its DPM, its speed, etc. But this CDC is trying to do some kind of a modified face hug, which was just a really bad move. He keeps on bouncing shots. I think he's bounced like 3 or 4 shots. Rene dispatches of him relatively quickly. And the reality is, did you see that 500 AP shot? Gotta love that. And finally, it is done. Now it's a 2-on-1. The other Emil is facing Rene's WZ-111 and clears him. So you see the other Emil is up there, and this is where Rene gets smart. A lot of people would rush or do so many things. The FCM starts talking trash. It wouldn't be Blitz without a little bit of trash talk. Rene, a lot of options here. What did Rene do? Well, he reset his camo, number 1. He's resetting his consumables, number 2. He's got three shots in ready to go. And nub versus nub. Rene is no nub, and I think you're about to see that. So the thing is now is who's going to spot who and how do you do it? It's always tough with the one-on-one. Rene's got 460 hit points. I believe their Emil had more than that, and we'll see it in a second. He sure does. And there comes their Emil. Rene pops him for 1. Uses the focused consumables. I do not drive those. I have a hard time with that one. I always tend to use it at the wrong time, and I'd rather have the speed and the track. I don't like being perma-tracked, so I use the speed, the track, and the overall health kit. So Rene tells him he's going to kill him. He reloads again, gets the crack speed ready, gets the 3 shells ready, 1 second left. Let's get this over with. And unfortunately, and then Rene tells the FCM that he enjoyed killing him. I mean, it's good old-fashioned banter, I think. Rene pushes him now. He knew he would be around here somewhere. I expected him to be right here, but I have no idea what this guy was doing. And all I could tell is Rene unloads on him, finishes him off, and calls it a day. The guy was too busy typing. That's what they said. So Rene does 4,500 damage and 4 kills. I don't know how he didn't get the mastery on this one, a little bit of bullshit, but 1349 XP base, that is probably it. Terrific game, Rene. That deserved a mastery in my book. Thanks for watching, everyone. Subscribe to the channel.